Hi boys and girls, in today's lesson we're going to be taking notes and practicing three things. Changing a decimal into a mixed number, making a mixed number a decimal, and converting a fraction to a decimal by using division. You will need your notebooks out, so go ahead. I'm going to pull up Sphere here so you see my notebook. And I'm going right where we left off yesterday, so the very next page. And the first thing I'm going to do is write down convert a decimal to a mixed number. Alright, to do this, we're going to start off with a number which is 1.25. That is my decimal. Now to make 1.25 a mixed number, there's a couple easy steps. Remember, a mixed number is a number and a fraction. When I look at 1.25, 1 is a whole number. So it automatically just comes right over into my answer. I'm going to read this decimal again. 1 and 25 hundredths. So when I'm writing my fraction, I want to end up saying the same thing. I want to say 1, which I have, and is my decimal. In fractions, it means, okay, there's my whole number. Here's my fraction. 25 hundredths. The nice thing is, I just take my decimal and it becomes my numerator. 25. Now I have to know what my denominator is. So when I go back to my decimal, I look at the place value. The 2 is in the 10th position, and the 5 is in the 100th. And as we worked on yesterday, we always look at the last place value of the decimal. So when it says 100th, the huge hint is 100. So I'm going to say 1 and 25 hundredths. And that's my answer. 1.25 is the same as 1 and 25 over 100. When you read them like a mathematician, on both of them we will say 1 and 25 hundredths. Let's do another one. 3.29. Okay, step 1, I'm going to read it. 3 and 29 hundredths. My whole number 3 comes directly over. The decimal and means fraction. 29 is my numerator. And then I have to think of my place value for my denominator. 10th, hundredth. Hundredth, just like the previous question, it is over 100. Hope you got that one right. 5.6. Step 1, go ahead and read it. 5 and 6/10. Now I noticed that sounds different. I said 10th instead of hundredth. See if that changes our denominator. My whole number still comes straight over. 5 and means my fraction. 6 is my numerator. But now I said 10th. And when we say 10th, the key word is 10. And that is my fraction. 5 and 6/10. Okay, the next problem we have to understand how to do is going from a mixed number to a decimal. Remember, you can rewatch this video a number of times and practice it. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Today in math class, you're going to have some extra practice with a partner. mixed number to a decimal. So now I'm going to have a whole number and a fraction, such as 3 and 9/10. Alright, to go to a decimal, it's kind of like the same steps from converting a decimal to a mixed number. What I'm going to do first is read it, 3 and 9/10. So I'm going to write what I'm saying. 3 is my whole number. It always gets to come over. The whole number gets all the breaks. 3 and remember that first day we talked about place value. When you say the word and, it means a decimal place. 3 and 9/10. What I'm going to do is look at my denominator 10. Now up here, remember we had 10th told me it means 10. So 10 tells me my decimal place value is only in the 10th. Only one spot. Well, luckily my numerator is only one number, a 9. So it fits like that. I should have 3 and 9/10 and 3 and 9/10. We'll try another one. 12 and 62 over 100, which is like 12 and 62 hundredths. I'm going to take my whole number, 12. It comes over to a whole number, 12 and, so decimal point, 12 and 62 hundredths. So I'm going to give myself, this is my little way to cheat. There's my 10th. This little blank is my 100th. And so I have two spots. Well, once again, my numerator is 2 digits. 62. 12 and 62 hundredths. 12 and 62 hundredths. I'm going to do one more, but it's going to be tricky. Let's do 7 and 4 hundredths. See if you can figure this one out. My whole number still comes over. 7. 7 and, so we put our decimal in. 4 hundredths. I'm going to do my little trick. There's my 10th. There's my 100th. This time my numerator is only one digit. Where do I have to put that 4? It always goes in the far right. So far right, this is 4 hundredths. Well, the 4 is in the, sorry, my hand's in the way. The 4 is in the hundredths place. This is my 10th. However, I can't leave this blank. It's sitting there, it needs to hold something. So I have to put something that equals nothing, which is our digit 0. Hope you got that one. Alright, our last thing, and I'm going to turn the page because I know I'm going to need some space for this one, is we are going to look at how to go from a fraction to decimal I'll move my hand out of the way in a second. By division. Alright. Now this is a little more tricky. We're going to start with 3/4. Now, in this one, we have to use division because my denominator is not a 10 or a 10th or a 100th or a 1,000th. So I can't just automatically put it over 10 or 100 or 1,000. To do this, a fraction is really meaning 3 out of 4. So in division, I can say 3 divided by 4. And we're going to use long division. To do so, my steps are divide, multiply, subtract, and drop. My first one, divide. 3 divided by 4 is 0. Multiply. 4 times 0, or 0 times 4, is 0. You subtract, that 3 minus 0 is 3. And then I'm either done or I drop. Well, since I have a number left over, I can't be done, so I have to drop something. Here, after my 3 is where I can put a decimal in. So far, my number is the same. If I add a 0 after it, well, 3.0 is the same as 3. So I haven't changed anything. But now I can drop that 0. Right before I drop it, though, this decimal has to come straight up. So now I have, for my answer, 0. See, that's where we're going to get our decimal answer. I drop the 0, and now I have the new number 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7. I'm back to my multiplication. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtraction, 30 minus 28 is 2. And I still have a 2 here, so I need to add another 0 and then drop it. I'm going back to division. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract. 20 minus 20 is 0. And this time, since I have an answer 0, I don't have anything left over and I do not have to drop. So 3/4 is the same as 0.75 or 75 hundredths. We'll do one more. 4 over 5. I'm going to follow the same steps. 4 divided by 5. And I'm going to write down my little steps so I don't forget. 4 divided by 5 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. That is 0. I about said 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. I did it again. Now I'm going to add my decimal point and a 0. Decimal comes up. 0 goes down. I now have the number 40. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. And I have nothing left over, so I don't need a drop. My answer is 0.8. Alright, if you have any questions on today's lesson, be sure to talk with me. I'm going to work with small groups, and you're going to be practicing this with partners today. Thank you for helping.